It's a necessity. Wait a second. I just I just realized I forgot something very important. I forgot to put up my branding, you guys. My very expensive sign. There we go. Now you know it's a real legitimate talk show because I have my own sign. Welcome to the Dave Brenn Show. My name is Dave Brenn. This is my show. This is my talk show for you, balloon people, my balloon family. We're back. Woohoo! It has been far too long. It's been over a year since we've done an episode of the Dave Brenn Show. But you know what? It's a new year. It's 2023. I want to kick this year off with a bang. And I am particularly excited this year because finally, after 2 years on hiatus, the in-person Twist and Shout convention is coming back. Very excited. February 22nd through 26th, 2023. It's going to be in Glendale, California. Go to balloonconvention.com to get all the details, tickets, book your hotel room. But I hope you come because Twist and Shout is amazing. It's where all of our convention friends, our balloon family gathers every year to inspire each other, to hang out, tell stories, teach classes, learn classes, join competitions, watch some amazing performances. It's truly an inspirational experience for the balloon community. So I hope to see you all there. And today's show is going to be all about Twist and Shout, and specifically it's going to be featuring some of our amazing lineup of instructors that are going to be at Twist and Shout. Today, our guests are Kristal Yee, Rob Driscoll, and Connie Iden-Monds. I'm so excited we're going to get a chance to talk to all three of them in a little bit. And we actually have a live Zoom audience with us here today. I'm going to switch over to the gallery view so we can say hello to our live Zoom audience. Hello, live Zoom audience. Let's see ya. If you want a chance to be a part of this live Zoom audience, all you have to do is head over to patreon.com/Dave Brenn. Sign up. It's super cheap. It's only $2.60 a month, guys. Not only do you get access to our live recordings for the Dave Brenn Show, but you get access to my entire catalog of instructional content and access to our monthly live Zoom classes. Again, that's patreon.com/Dave Brenn. We've got a lot to get into this episode, but first I want to introduce someone special here today. That is going to be my co-host, Jetwan Whedon. Hello, Jetwan. What, you okay?
That's me.
It's you.
That's me.
Thank you so much.
Weird.
It is weird.
I love being here.
Oh, Jetwan. Jetwan is going to be my co-host. She's not only is she going to, occasionally provide funny comments and gentle ribbing at my expense, but she's also going to be monitoring the live Zoom chat. That's right. If you join the live Zoom chat, you get to ask questions of our special guests. Thank you so much for that, Jetwan. And Jetwan, I feel like you and I are like best friends at this point already, but we have never met in person. And we're
easy there. My best friend is here.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. One of our guests today is already Jetwan's best friend. That's, of course, the amazing Rob Driscoll. But, can I be second best, maybe?
We're tight. We're tight.
We're tight. Okay. But we're finally going to meet in person.
I'm excited. That's so weird. I feel like we're friends. And then I'm like, wait, this is a friend that I've never actually seen in real life. Being that I've only come into the scene 2 years,
right?
Going to these conventions now, it's funny when I meet people. You guys are all pretty short. So,
oh, no.
The first thing everyone says is not they're all like, "You're so tall." I'm only 5'9", 5'10", but I didn't realize that I'm tall in balloon world.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, you're 5'10"?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, you're taller than me. That's okay. I'll wear my.
Okay.
I'll wear heels.
We'll make it work, Dave. Our love will make it work.
I'll wear heels when I first met you, so that it's okay.
I'll bend down when we make out. I mean, wait,
Oh,
wait.
whoa, whoa,
Sorry, sorry,
whoa.
Rob. Sorry, Rob. I meant hug,
Right.
Rob. I meant hug. It's okay, Rob. Don't get jealous.
So you're going to be go. This will be your first twist and shout, and
So excited.
from what I understand, you have some. So do you want to show the special?
No,
No.
it's
Okay,
a
it's a secret.
secret surprise.
Okay, so just so you know, Jetwan has a secret surprise for all of her friends that show up at Twist and Shout. So make sure you go so you can find out what her secret surprise is. All right, Jetwan, I'll chat with you later. Thank you so much for being here. But let's get right into it. We have three amazing guests here, and I can't wait to talk to them all. And our first guest is a 9-time Twist and Shout attendee, a 5-time Twist and Shout award winner, a 4-time Twist and Shout stage competition co-host, and she is super excited to be instructing at Twist and Shout for the second time. Please welcome Kristal Yee. Hello, Kristal.
Hi. I also wanted to mention that I am 5'3", so well into that short twister zone right there.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, Jetwan, you'll have at least one person that you can look down to. That'll be great.
Twisters, weirdos with balloons, short, and cats.
Yes.
I have a dog though, so there's one
Yeah,
difference.
she does have a dog. Kristal, you have a pug. What's your pug's name?
It's Wheezy. He's under the table.
Wheezy.
I can grab him because he makes appearances every so often.
Wheezy? Oh my gosh. You guys, this is very special. Wheezy was not even on the guest list for today. There he is.
That's right.
Hi, Wheezy.
Hello.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence.
I did take a lynch roller to my shirt just for this, and that has been negated now. So
That's okay. And I'm covered in cat hair too, but I use the touch up my appearance feature on Zoom so you can't see it. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So first Twist and Shout in over 2 years. Are you excited?
Very excited. I miss everyone.
No. It's just not the same seeing people over Zoom.
No, it's not. It just makes you miss them more. So it's kind of good because you can see them, and kind of sucky because you don't get to see them in person. But this year it's changing, which is excellent.
Yes. What do you miss the most about in-person conventions?
I mean, the people, the hugs, the giant piles, like literal piles of people on top of each other. As we're all hanging out, and maybe we're not jamming, maybe some people are, but we're all just hanging out and talking and laughing, and it's just wonderful. It's the camaraderie I miss so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's where, and it's like an inspiration. I feel like whenever we go there, you know, you're kind of connecting with all these people and sharing ideas.
Absolutely.
I miss it. I can't wait to get back to it. It'll be in sunny California. It'll be nice and warm.
Extra excited for that.
Yeah. So one thing about going to conventions that I've been going for years, but I still forget is it's a little bit of a survivor's game. Like you have to be prepared. You can't just show up and expect everything to go super smooth if you're not prepared. Do you have any like tips, especially for someone that may be their first time going to an in-person convention, like a good survival tip?
Oh man, just I don't know if I can do a singular one, but I can rattle off a few things.
Please.
Don't expect to get too much sleep.
Yes.
The big one. If you do plan to stay up and compete or do anything like that, I would bring a bunch of little snacks so you can have a little energy boost throughout. Make sure you stay hydrated. So if you're not good with tap water, then if you're there, you know, a day or half a day early, run to a grocery store, get a case of water or a giant bottle of water or something, just so you can balance everything. And it's not just beverages; it's some actual hydration there.
Right.
If you're going to be twisting along a lot, paper tape has saved my fingers many times in general when there's lots of balloons and lots of knots and lots of the same repetitive things going on. And oh my goodness.
I think that's a really important one because I have to protect this manicure. Like I didn't spend $80 on this to get it ruined by tying 100 balloon knots. So.
Absolutely. So some people have done, I like paper tape. Some people have done Band-Aids or electrical tape or duct tape in a pinch. But I definitely protect cuticles because they look pretty gnarly after a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my hands, your hands kind of come away looking like you just did like an 8-hour shift in the coal mine.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the powder gets in, and then if you're a face painter as well, then as I'm cleaning stuff up, then the black gets into the very dry, very ripped up cuticles, and then I do look like I've been working in the coal mines all day.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Oh, working hands.
Well, speaking of twisting along in class, you're teaching a class, of course. Give us some insight and details. What are you teaching, and what can people expect from your class?
You know what? I submitted 3, and I don't actually know which 2 are getting picked yet. So I can't
Ooh.
answer just in case one of them isn't one of the ones.
Okay.
I'm excited. I've not taught these specific things before. So that's exciting for me. I know which 2 I'm leaning towards wanting. So it's gonna, and I can't say that I won't have maybe some little Canadian treats for people who might ask questions during class. I don't know. I haven't really thought that far, but
Canadian treats, you guys. If that's not a reason to show up to Twist and Shout, I can't think of what's not. I mean, I have a really important, speaking of Canadian, will your moose be coming? Do we still have the moose? And if actually, tell us about the moose, because maybe not everybody knows.
So years and years and years ago, right before a Twist and Shout, I was in a parking lot of a Tim Hortons, which, if you don't know, is a Canadian coffee chain. And someone had lost their little plastic moose. So I picked him up, and I was going to leave him there for the child who may or may not come back. And I was like, you know what? Maybe they don't. And I didn't want him to just be abandoned there. So I took him home, and then he proceeded to travel with me to every single place that I went. And so Moose came around, and between people asking me where Moose is and how Wheezy is, no one actually asked me in person about how Kristal was.
Oh.
So I still have Moose. He's been sitting up by my desk for the last couple of years. And I went to Mexico in November, and I forgot to take it because it's been such a long time. I know.
Kristal.
You may never forgive me, but I am going to do my darndest to remember to take him. So Dave, I would like you to make a note to please remind me in a month. I need to replace my suitcase because WestJet destroyed it on the way to and from Mexico. So once I get a suitcase, I will put Moose in the suitcase, and we'll be good.
Okay. Yeah, that's very important. Does Moose have a name, or does he just go by Moose?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, it makes sense. I call my cat Shark, and it's just very confusing. I should probably just call him Cat to keep everything understandable. So I want to ask you about teaching in general, because I have found this myself over the years as a teacher, that I end up learning more than I expect I will when I'm actually the one there teaching. Is there anything that you have learned over the years as a teacher or in the course of teaching that has kind of stuck with you? Yeah.
I think that you're always learning anyways, regardless of whether you're teaching or whether you're an attendee. Same as whenever people at events start talking about, well, how long did it take you to learn this? And I always liken it to when you learn how to cook. And you never get 1 or 2 recipes down and call it done. You're always tweaking flavors and adding different seasonings and trading things out and trying new little tweaks for everything. And so even though you may have tried pot roast once 8 years ago, you're going to keep on learning other things, the side dishes, extra different whatever else, some different sauces to go with it. So you're constantly going about things. So I like to say that I never am done learning altogether. But I also like to say that if you go to a convention and you learn one thing, it's well worth the time and well worth the money.
Oh, yeah.
My very first Twist and Shout, which was 2011, during the closing night gala, we were watching the shows, and I believe it was Fabrizio who was up there. And I had a princess wand design that I used for line work and for birthday parties, which is fun. Except they use a lot of a string of pearls in there. And at that point, I was twisting them all individually. And I was like, I don't think I can keep on doing this design. I like it, but it's killing my wrists. And then I watched Fabrizio, who just casually started rolling the balloon up his body or down his body and making the pearls like that. And I went, this is saving my hands and letting me not have carpal tunnel. So you pick up things in different ways. So if I'm teaching, I can look out and watch everyone do their interpretations. My brother used to come and twist with me for events sometimes, and I would show him how I would do it. And sometimes he'd remember, sometimes he wouldn't. But I said, as long as you get to the same end result, it doesn't matter which path you're taking to get there.
Right.
From the start to the end, if that's the same, or the ending's the same, if you take a couple different lefts instead of going the right, as long as that path leads you to that design, then you're good. So I can look around, and if people are trying their hands on different things and someone has added a little extra something to the design that I was teaching, or they've tried a different color palette, or just like Fabrizio, they've tried a different method of getting to a certain place. If it looks cool, if it looks maybe a little easier, less wear and tear on my body, I'll give it a shot, and it's excellent. So
Nice.
yeah, you kind of learn everywhere.
What inspires you as an artist to like create and come up with new things?
Sometimes it's for dresses, for example, sometimes it's an actual dress,
Yeah.
or a shape, or a modeling photo. Sometimes it comes about purely from necessity. And it's, this design has to be completed. I have to figure out how to do this one piece. How's that going to happen? Which is actually what one of my classes was based on. It's because of this one design had to be made. And if you saw Q Corner, when I did my birds class, that's how that came around too. When I was like, I need to have this eagle. How will I do that? And then it's kind of just stemmed from there.
Right.
So
The old classic request. I mean, it happens all the time where it's like, I would have never thought to have to make that, but somebody asked me to make that, and now I'm gonna figure it
and
out.
that's just part of it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, necessity is a big thing, because there's not always time to just sit and jam or figure things out or just play around with things. I don't know about everyone else, but if I'm not on a job, I'm getting ready for the job or cleaning up from the job, or feel like I had a request today for someone who was all like, I'd like to rent a ball pit. And I was like, I don't do ball pits.
Right.
And she was, oh, I need balloons. And I was like, okay, yes. So you're spending all that and trying to balance your social and your work lives and all that kind of stuff. So there's not a lot of time to just play around. So a lot of the creations that I have to come up with or get to come up with come around because someone has requested something.
Right.
Which, you know what? Sometimes if you have that time deadline, it's a good kick in the pants, and that's what I need sometimes.
I require a time deadline to get anything done. Absolutely. I totally hear you there. So tell us, what classes are you going to be teaching at Twist and Shout?
All right. So one of my options, I'm sponsored by Qualitex for this time, which, yay, very exciting.
Great.
Yeah. And so Evie had said, so you're teaching a dress class. And I was like, that wasn't even on my radar, but I could do that. So instead of a basics dress class, what I really want to do is how to dress up your dress. How to jump
cool.
accessories and stuff like that. So you got the basics down. What can you do to step that up and add a little bit of oomph and zhuzhing to that? Okay.
Right.
And I've never done that. I've either done the basics beginners dresses, or I've done the star weave, but I've actually never done just an accessories kind of thing. So I'm excited on that.
Right. I loved your dress class that you did for us was it a Twist last year that you did the dress class? Yes. Yeah, man, time is my brain. But I learned so much. I mean, I learned how to make a bodice for the first time ever. I actually learned how to make a bodice, and I still use the information that you taught in that class.
Aw,
It was
yay.
great.
Well, that's making me very happy.
Yeah, but that idea of then like, okay, you already know how to make a dress. Let's zhuzh it up. I love that. That sounds like a great idea for a class.
You. Well, then my second option, or another option for class, was what I was talking about before, where you had to come up with something. And cats have always been my nemesis.
The cat.
I've always had problems with line work cats or fast, like party cats. And then when I did learn a cat design that I liked, it took a lot of balloons and a fair bit of time. And then when you finally get the head figured out, then you've got all the haunches and all these paws and everything. And so during COVID, it was very funny because it was a smaller group of people and I was in the backyard, and then everyone just like left to go to the front yard. And one person came back and said, Grandma would like a cat. So no one was there. So I could have made as many mistakes as I wanted. during this time. And I finally came up with this modular kind of body
Hmm.
that made a cat so much easier. And then from that, I realized that, you know, it comes into play a fair bit now if I'm doing different bodies or different animals that that body would be good for. And so it all started with the cat, and then how things just ran off from that point.
Nice.
My other class option was, I can't remember what I called it. Like it was fun food, and I got a bunch of like foods in there and stuff, and then was kind of riffing on that.
Fun food. I like the sound of that.
Food items, yeah.
I
And
am
obviously food with
at the risk of making me hungry. Like, what are some food options? Like, what's your favorite article of food to make?
my favorite in that grouping would be a slice of watermelon.
Ooh, I want to learn how to do that. That sounds
Well, I haven't heard yet what classes I'm teaching, so we'll see what comes out. And then that other class is always going to be in the running for future.
right. Cool.
So, yeah.
Awesome. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we might have a couple of questions from our live studio audience for Kristal, and we're going to talk with our next instructor, Rob Driscoll. We'll be back after this ad break. Well, the Dave Brenn Show is generously supported by my sponsors over at patreon.com/Dave Brenn. When you become a member of my Patreon, you get access to so much. You get monthly live Zoom classes. All those classes are recorded and posted to our exclusive Patreon content page. And on that page, you also get access to every single tutorial video that I've produced in my 10-year career as an instructor. So if you want to support future episodes of The Dave Brenn Show, please consider going over to patreon.com/Dave Brenn and supporting us for only $2.60 a month. All right, welcome back to The Dave Brenn Show. We were talking with Kristal Yee, instructor at Twist and Shout 2023. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Kristal. We had a couple of comments and questions from our live Zoom audience. Jetwan, I'm going to bring you on here. Jetwan, what do we have? What do we want to say from our live Zoom audience?
Sorry, I'm in the DMs with all these people too afraid to ask you guys. I promise I'm still in the Zoom. It's just I have people asking me questions in private.
Oh, okay.
And, so my questions for Kristal were questions like just the basic, like, how long have you been doing this? And if there was, I always like to like bring it back to the beginning.
Right.
You could go back to how many years has it been, Kristal?
I started working for myself in 2008 or 9, but I started twisting about 2005. So it's been
Okay.
a
So go back to 2006. What would you do differently?
Ooh, good question.
I would have liked to have realized that I could use more than one balloon at a time faster. I worked at an event company then that was big on one balloon animals. So you had your mixed bag of 260s, and you couldn't tell any of the dark jewel tones apart. So it was a bit of a guessing game there. But your whole thing was, you know, what can you make with just one balloon or two balloons if you wanted to do a flower and you're feeling very fancy. But I wish it had happened sooner, because when I found out that you could do multiples, like my head just exploded.
Yes.
So yeah.
I remember the day I learned that 350s exist, and it was off to the races.
Yeah, mine too, right?
I do want to spotlight one of our guests in the audience, Zach and Zoe, who attended your class at Twist last year, Kristal, and they have something amazing to show us. Check this out. This is the dress that they made in your class last year.
Oh,
Yes, sir, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing that it still survived. You know, my good friend Molly Balloons has a habit of saving her dresses and waiting a couple of years till they completely deflate, and then she puts them on a Barbie doll. And so she's got like 10 Barbie dolls that all have dresses that she's made like 10 years in the past.
Cool.
I don't have any Barbie left. I have deflated dresses everywhere though. So
You just keep them in like bags around your house?
some of them are in like a little like leftover cookie tin, I think. And some of them have just been slowly deflating on the back of my armchair because I double stuffed one of these. If you remember the Qualitex calendar, the last printed one from 2020 with my box in there, that was double stuffed. It is still deflating on my couch.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Jetwan, do we have any other questions or comments from the Zoom gallery?
There's a few just basic convention questions as far
Okay.
as someone was asking about food, and I am not familiar with the location, but most of the conventions I've been to have had restaurants within walking distance.
Yeah.
And I always suggest having water in your room. I just prefer bottled water. So if you have access to walking there, if you're driving, drive and, bring some to your hotel room or something, but keep water on you at all times, especially if you're not from the area. Stay hydrated.
Yes, absolutely. Well, fantastic. We hope to see you all at Twist and Shout.
Eileen has
We
a
have another
question.
Oh,
Eileen has a
yes.
question.
Yes.
It is there time to compete in dresses, but still take classes, or is the
Ooh.
time too tight?
Kristal, this is probably a good question for you
I
as a
think
person
you know
who has
this.
made dresses. Yeah.
Yes. In general. It depends. If I would look at the schedule, actually, the schedule's not out yet. I always made
Oh,
my
the schedule is out, I believe.
Oh, is it?
I think if you go to balloonconvention.com, I think the schedule's up there.
Okay, like okay. But I would take a look, and I would always prioritize the dress. So I would start on the Wednesday night in the jam room, and then just continue working on my dresses. If there was a specific class that I definitely wanted to take, you can make time for that. Or if there's one of those classes that comes after the competition pieces are due, then that's great as well. I often did not make it to any or many classes or sleep much before the fashion show. And then sometimes the night or the morning afterwards, I would miss the morning class or two just because I would finally be catching up on some sleep. That is going to depend on how complex your dress is and how long it's going to take you to get done. I think it's super, super fun to compete and get to challenge yourself to do that, get the model and the music and see all that come together. But it really depends on what your priority is. And if it's going to be classes or if it's going to be the competitions, you can do both. You're not going to get to do all the classes and the competitions. But you have to take a think and see what it is that you're really wanting to get out of this twist and shout.
Yeah.
Not like a fast kind of answer. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But
yeah, it's always you kind of have to play it by ear. Sometimes you might get stuck in your room working on your competition piece, depending on how ambitious you're going to be. But yeah, I think
there were some people like Emmy who we wouldn't even know was there until the gala.
And then they'd show up. It's like, oh, you were here.
Yeah, exactly. So it just depends on what you're looking for there.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. Jetwan, I think Taryn had a question as well.
Yeah. Well, first I wanted to say that I think it's really cool that Lori says that she frames her dress in a shadow box.
Oh, that is
from
great.
12 years ago, and it still looks great.
Wow.
I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I think that would make a neat collage, even.
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch of dresses in a shadow box. And Taryn wants to know, how would you rate the level of expertise for your classes? Oh, Lori has 2 of them, she says. She wants to know from all instructors, tell about your class and where you rate the level, because Taryn's pretty new.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. First, I want to say, even if you think you're too new for a certain class, if there's still something you want to see, I wouldn't not go to the class, because you can still pick up little tips. You can still see how things carry on later on and can draw from that later on. It's not gonna hurt to take some extra pictures and take some extra notes. It might not make as much sense in that moment. You might not be able to, get all the designs right away. But then you have something to refer to and something to strive for. So that's first. In regards to levels, that was my thinking sound. possibly intermediate. You would want to know
Although the
your,
definition of what's advanced and intermediate is like
yeah,
very fungible.
very fluid. Yeah. So you would have to know, certain twists for each of them. But like I said, I say come to the classes, then talk to us in the jam room afterwards if you've got specific questions, or talk to anyone in the jam room. That's honestly one of the best places to learn and meet people, getting to see what everyone's working on. You can pick up a lot of information that way as well.
It's like aspirational attendance, maybe you're going to the class and you're not definitely going to be able to do it, but you can see it and it's like, oh, that's something to strive towards.
I personally have had that happen. I watched a Jackie video on YouTube, and it was like 2 years ago. I'd only been doing this very briefly, and she made this adorable, huge little mermaid on a rock, and it was flowing hair. And my husband and I sat there and watched every drop of it. And I thought I would never, ever be able to understand or do anything like this. And I've totally been able to do stuff like that. So I think it's fun. I think take a class that you think is beyond your means, because that'll be your gauge. When you keep pushing, you keep learning, that'll be neat to know, oh my gosh, I'm there. I'm at that spot I thought I'll never get to. So
Yeah,
do it.
absolutely. Do it. Do it even if you don't think you can. Well, Kristal, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate having you, and I cannot wait to see you in person and give you a real person hug
Oh
very
my
soon.
gosh. Thanks for
Awesome.
having me in. It's always nice to chat with you. I can't wait to see or meet new people.
Yes.
See people that I know and meet new people. It wasn't like an and/or situation.
I feel like this is going to be a lot of meeting new people because so many new people joined the balloon community over COVID, and we haven't met these people yet. So it's going to be pretty cool.
It's gonna be wild. So excited.
All right, well, let's quickly move on because we've got two more guests with us today. Next, we are going to talk to someone who has been a full-time professional magician and a balloon artist for 30 years. He's lectured around the world, including the Congress of Aero Designers in the Ukraine, Balloon Park in Paris, Bling Bling Jam, most recently the Florida Super Jam. Let's welcome to the show the amazing Rob Driscoll. Rob!
Hello. Hi. Hey there.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, good, thank you. Are you all right?
I'm good. I'm going to get to meet
Good.
you in person for the first time.
Exciting. All these people, all these superstars of the balloon world, and I'm going to meet them all.
So is this your first time coming over to the States?
No.
Or for Twist and Shout,
yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, for my first Twist and Shout. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, very excited. But it's it's quite daunting with all these like superstars of the balloon world. And
Don't worry, we're all actually just normal people for the most
Okay.
part. Some of us
Not-
are.
normal's boring. You want to be a bit out there, don't you?
That's true. So Florida Super Jam, you taught. What is that? This one coming up, or was that last year?
Last year, yeah.
How did that go?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. It was great. It's great to meet all the people. It's for me. It's all about meeting people that I love. I just love the variety of people you get and seeing all the different skills and talents and everything. It's it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've taught a lot all over Europe, and I didn't even mention half of the stuff that you've accomplished. 2013, you had a 1 balloon a day challenge.
Did that for a year. Yeah.
Tell us about that. How did that go, and what was your inspiration to do that?
My inspiration for that was to get better at balloons. And if you want to get better at balloons, I promise you this is the thing to do. And I started on January the 1st, and I made a different balloon animal every day for a whole year. And literally I got to the end of, well, halfway through February, and I was running out of like animals I could make.
Yeah.
And I just had to learn, really. So it was an ideal way. You're learning things all the time by doing that, and I was just making up random animals and random things and characters and stuff. And
Was there like a design during that whole process that you're like particularly proud of?
there was a moment around June, I started to realise I was coming up with my own little things. I remember that a fair bit, and I was starting to like see. I remember Minions being out. I remember working out a Minion and then working out Gru and stuff like this, and I think that was almost a turning point for me in that area. Yeah, but I think I remember the Gru I made was quite a sudden jump for me. So that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that moment where you realize, oh, I can really
Yeah.
I can really like use my imagination
I
and
can
make
do anything here. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Doesn't that feel amazing?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love the fact that you've got these things here and you can just do anything with them. You know, there's no limit.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
great.
world's your oyster, isn't it? Yeah.
And not only just making things, but also like making a difference in the world. Which one of your projects that I'm really keen to hear more about is your Twisted Cinema, which, as I understand it, was created to kind of help bring attention to the World Wildlife Fund.
No,
Did I get
Twisted
that wrong?
Cinema. Yeah, no, with Twisted Cinema, I did a different movie scene every week.
Oh, okay.
But my wildlife one was an A to Z of endangered animals, and I did 26 animals, start a day with an axolotl, and then worked my way through the alphabet, and I chose endangered animals for each letter of the alphabet, and that was for the World Wildlife Fund.
Right.
And it was great because Oswald at Sempertex sponsored me for that. He sent loads of money to the WWF on my behalf, which was great, and it was quite good.
Has that always been kind of a passion of yours to support conservation, things like
that? Yeah, I think it had. It was a bit tricky because I got a lot of backlash about a lot of people were having a go at me for using balloons to promote wildlife.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time going, no, like they're biodegradable. They do a lot for to make sure that, or they try and do a lot to help the environment and make them biodegradable. And if they're disposed of properly, it's fine. And so it was a tricky one because although the WWF were fully on my side and knew how biodegradable the balloons were and everything, a lot of people I don't think they understood the what balloons can be like, and they're actually not that bad.
That is an uphill battle, I think, that we all
yes
kind of constantly facing.
Yeah.
And you've also been published quite a lot. You've been in Ripley's Believe It or Not.
It's a
Daily
few
Mail,
years ago.
Huffington Post. Tell us about your Ripley's Believe It or Not publication.
So that was it was a Twisted Cinema, my weekly film movie scenes. I did one every week for a year, and there was films like Star Wars, and I did North by Northwest and Metropolis, and all sorts of different films. Lady and the Tramp was another one I did, and they contacted me and said, we want to put it in Ripley's Believe It or Not, and so they were all in it was about 5 years ago, I think. They were all in. I've got it. I should have got it out, but yeah.
Send me a picture. I'll put it in post. I'll edit.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I'll yeah. So it ended up in there. I've got.
Did they reach out to you?
Page. They did. Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's madness, really.
Well, I'm really excited to be meeting you at Twist and Shout, meeting you in person. Not only meeting you in person, but also the chance to take one of your classes. So tell us what you're planning or hoping to teach at Twist and Shout.
Yeah, sure. So I've got 3 classes all set and ready to go. So my first class is going to be it's going to be a line work animals, but I'm not going down the normal route of animals. I'm going a little bit weird with some unusual animals. I work occasionally at a local zoo, and they have some unusual animals, and they asked me when I first did it if I could make some of the animals there, and so I've got some a bit weirder animals. So I do a capybara, and flamingos, and a little bit of sloth, things like that. So I'm going to do my line work, those animals there. So that's a whole class of that. My next class is going to be on my mini people. I do little small people, and what I love about these is that if you're at an event and someone says make me, you can just make them. It's like a simple design which you can then adapt. You can give hats. You can put different color, obviously different color clothes. You can accessorize different hairstyles, different facial hair, all sorts of things to make this character look like whoever you do. So
I think that's always such a fun
yeah.
ask, because if you can make it happen, what kind of reactions do you get from people when
Oh,
you actually
amazing. I mean, some people, they jokingly say, "Oh, can you make me?" And I'll go, and they say, "Oh my god!" And they run, "It's me, it's me!" It's great. I've taught it before, and what I love about it is, even if you've seen the class before, I always add new things and different things, and we make something different. And I think it's a fun class, and when I say what we're all going to make at the end, everybody goes, "Oh, it's really exciting!" So I enjoy it. Yeah, it's good. It's been a few years since I've taught it, but I'm glad to
Nice.
glad to be doing it again. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what else have we got?
Oh yes, and now I'm doing a masterclass.
Oh, great.
I know, yeah. But
So
I'll
the
be
master classes, remind us, those are on the Wednesday
on the Wednesday, yeah.
before, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
those
Yeah.
are, if you haven't been to Twist and Chat before, just so you know, so the master classes, I highly recommend them. They are a separate charge from the convention itself. And how long do the classes last?
4 hours.
4 hours. So it's a
Yeah.
4-hour intensive class with some of the brightest minds in the balloon industry. So I highly recommend it if you want to push yourself that extra mile. So yeah, tell us about your masterclass.
Yeah. So my masterclass, I'm basically doing a box weave. However, I've developed this method of doing a box weave, which I think is really fast, and I think it's one of the fastest, easiest methods out there. What I do, I don't necessarily teach a basic box weave. I teach a system, and once you know the system, you can create any shape you like. So there's certain key shapes you have to make, and then when you put them all together, it's going to be quite full on. But I've only done very short classes, and you can never get enough in.
Yeah.
When you do like a short class. So I'm really looking forward to a full 4 hour, so I can really get deep into teaching it. I've got tutorials on this, and I think the tutorials are nearly 3.5 4 hours long, and I supply the plans to make it easy, and you can make any number and any letter. But once you know the system, that's it. You can make any shape. And I'm going to get everybody to make a number 5, and we're also going to make a big heart using the same system.
Oh, cool.
So
you can make all kinds of shapes and everything.
Yes, yeah. So it can be any shape, and it's a shame that it's happening just after Valentine's Day, because a heart would be perfect, but
right.
I just figure a heart can be used any time of the year,
Oh, yeah.
And it's a really big, massive heart with 350s, 360s. It'll be. So yeah, so
nice.
that's what we're going to be doing.
My co-host Jetwan, who claims that you're her best friend. I'm not her best friend. It's you. But she's been giving like massive thumbs up.
Really? Okay.
In the background, saying that she really likes this technique.
The box weave used to take me hours, because I'm not the fastest twister, but with the technique that Rob shows and the way he breaks it down, it's so you're like, oh yeah. And I did a 40 the other day, and even with my chromes popping on me, I did start to finish under 2 hours for 2 numbers. And for me, that's fast. I'm telling you, I'm not that fast. So for me, that would have taken me all day to do both, probably, or at least 4 or 5 hours to do both. And that's with like mess ups. And I still had them done. And it was probably like 35, 45 minutes each, which is like shocking how fast it goes. And then the peeps, oh man, if you want a good tip, just make the peeps design for someone at like a table or something. Just do that and just go, oh, here, I made your daughter, or I made this, or who does this look like? And they're just like, oh my God. And they're just like throwing money at you.
Right. Nice.
My record for a box weave number 1 is 11 minutes.
Wow.
So, I mean, obviously it takes practice to get that fast, but that is my record.
I think I can weave a top hat in about 11 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a big, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick ad break, and we're going to be right back. We're going to have some questions and comments from our live Zoom audience for Rob. Remember, if you want to be in our live Zoom audiences for the Dave Brenn Show, go to patreon.com/Dave Brenn to sign up. We'll be right back. Are you a balloon artist who's looking for that new piece of equipment, whether that be a bag or a belt or any other accessory that you need to make your balloon twisting kit ready for this year? Well, if you are, I highly recommend Bagaloon.com. The amazing Ron Fowler, aka Flower Clown, has a fantastic line of products, and here he is demonstrating one of his recent additions to his product line.
So we're going to go over some of the new products that I designed in 2022. The big thing is the Shumai balloon twisting apron. So for many, many years, people have asked me to design an apron. I finally did. So we got the bonjours. These are the 16 pocket net pocket bonjours. These are great. You can attach them to the side of your Aloha bags. They'll attach to the sides. They have tactical. They've got the rings. You could put two 60s in here. You got 16 pockets for prints. You got a pocket on the back here for tips. You have the tactical and everything so you can connect it. You can wear this with a strap. You can wear this on a belt. I usually use these for the holidays. I also have a 12 pocket version. Then you have them with the solid pockets. So that's the bonjour. So there is the small bonjour, which is kind of like a pump holder. There's the bonjour skinny. This is the shalom, so it can mount on the side just like that, and you can use that for scraps or anything you want. So that's the shalom. Here is a great thing. It is made to go on top of your Zuka, and then it gives you tactical webbing all the way on the outside. So I have stock, I've got XLs, I've got all the sizes, I've got everything. The website is updated. I think I got everything. That's all I got. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
We're back with more of the Dave Brenn Show. We've been talking to Rob Driscoll, instructor at Twist and Shout 2023. We've been talking about some of his classes, but now we've got some comments from our live Zoom audience. Jetwan, what do we have out there for Rob?
Zoe and Zach were surprised that Rob is also a magician.
Oh, right.
I have been a magician for longer than I've been a balloon artist.
Really?
Well, you don't hear about it because I hear he's not that good.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
thanks.
Just kidding.
Tell us a little bit about your magic background, Rob.
I do. So that was the thing I learned in my teens, and that's what led me onto the balloons. I still do. It's still my main thing. I am Robbie the Wizard. As I go out for my kids' parties, I do an adult stage show with a friend of mine. We do a double act, which is all like mind reading stuff, and so yeah. So
cool.
yeah.
Nice. Any other comments, Jetwan?
Eileen is excited. She signed up for your masterclass. It's also her birthday that weekend, so it's
amazing.
a present to herself. That's a pretty cool present. The gift of Rob.
That is a great gift.
You poor thing. You could get better things, but yeah, okay.
Oh, that classic British self-deprecating humor. I get it.
So Rob has been twisting for 30 years. I can answer that one.
30 years. Wow.
And magic was his gateway drug.
Yes, as it often is.
So let's go over the master class again. Is this individual instructors teaching a master class of their own, or is it one large master class with a bunch of instructors?
Yeah, it is. I can take that question. It is, each individual instructor has their own class.
Okay.
I believe there's limited overlap, although there is some overlap. I have to look at the schedule to make sure. But yeah, each instructor, not every single instructor is teaching a master class, but each person who has a master class has their own 4-hour block that you can choose to go and take.
Nice.
And they're all on the Wednesday before the official classes start. Cool. All right, well, Rob, thank you so much for being here. We're going to move on to our last guest of the day. I look forward to seeing you at Twist and Shout. Safe travels.
Thank you.
See you in Glendale. We've got one more guest for you today, and she's got a list of achievements that is just gonna blow your minds if you don't already know who she is. She's one of the most decorated female U.S. balloon artists. Still the only American balloon artist to lead Team USA to the podium in the large sculpture competition at the World Balloon Convention. She's the only woman to win the trifecta of placing in all 3 twisting competitions in a single year. She's one of only 2 Americans to win the twisting competition at the European Millennium Jam in Belgium, winning first place. She was named 2004 Ballooniversity Designer of the Year, and the only woman to ever win IBAC Entertainer of the Year. She's my friend, Connie Iden-Monds. Connie, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are ya?
Good. How are you doing, pal?
Good, thanks.
It's
I
good
was
to see-
hoping, since Rob looks a little distinguished with the gray hair, that he would be older than me. But I've been twisting for 33 years, so
Oh.
I am an old lady in this group, and
You-
that's why my resume is so long.
You're young at heart, pal. I mean,
Aw,
you do
thanks.
really have. I didn't even list off like half of the accomplishments that you've had in your career. It's pretty stunning and mind-blowing.
Thanks. It's funny because most people are relatively, we have had this influx of people that have come into our industry even in the last 10 or 15 years. And so they don't, when they do know me from my accomplishments, they all think I'm a decorator.
Oh no.
And rightfully so. I mean, I've had my stuff, published in magazines and the calendar and everywhere else as a decorator. So I'm happy that I'm accomplished on both sides. And when people were back there coining the term deco twister, it kind of made me laugh because they were like, like Connie. So I guess I was part of the breed that brought that term to life.
Right. Now you say you're one of only 2 Americans to win a twisting competition at Millennium Jam. I've won a twisting competition. Am I the only other one?
You're the only other one. Yeah,
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I said to you when I met you, is that I'm like, oh my gosh, we have something in common in that we are the only 2 that have ever made it. Okay, I have mine right here. I'll grab it.
Yay! I had no idea that I was one of only 2. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that ever made it to first place at the Millennium Jam. And in fact, I got mine in, God, when is this? 2002. And when I got there, Leo, who was the organizer, said, Connie, you're the first American woman that has come here without her husband instructor. And I literally had heart palpitations because I was so shocked that he was saying that to me. And it was quite a joke at the time. I said, well, I just came because obviously Europeans are very good at what they do. A lot of them busk for a living. So, where US at the time were hobbyists, they weren't full-time. There were very few that were really full-time, making a full-time living like I was at the time. And so I said, I came to learn their aesthetics. I came to learn their styles. I came to learn their tips. And I looked right at Leo and I said, and I came to kick a little European ass in the competition, which was completely a joke. And everybody at the table, there were some greats there too. David Griss, Ken Stillman, everybody laughed. They put up their beers, they toasted. And at the end of the convention, they were like, wait a minute, she just took first place. Who is this girl? And where did she come from? So it was, it was an amazing learning experience for me. I try not to use the word amazing too much, but I really do feel like that really honed my skills. It taught me a lot. The people there were very good at giving constructive criticism in a way that made me rethink my designs. They taught me to look at a piece and not feel like I had to put everything on it. It needed to have the essence of the character. It didn't need to be an exact replica of the character. So I learned a lot from those competitions. And since then, I've been a Pioneer Balloon Ambassador, and they are sponsoring me generously once again to be an instructor at Twist and Shout. And I'm happy to be returning for the umpteenth, 100,000th year that I've been to Twist and Shout.
I was gonna say, I feel like of anybody here, you've probably been to more twists and shouts than almost any of us, or more conventions in general. Uh,
I started in 1999 at the first Tea Jam. I am an OG, like I'm the original group.
have you been to every one since?
I have for Twist and Shout
Yeah.
or for conventions.
Well,
No, not
Twist and
every
Yeah, no,
obviously
not
not
every
every
convention.
convention. I missed one. I had surgery on my hand one year, so I had to send an employee instead. But
We'll
I've
allow it.
only, yeah, I've only missed one.
Okay. So given your extensive convention experience, what are your kind of top tips for surviving the week, getting the most out of the week, and really thriving at a balloon convention?
Well, before I go there, I will say to all of you people that needed the tape that you need to work on your calluses, because I just did 66,000 balloons over the New Year's holiday, and I have no tape, and I have no calluses, and I have no blisters.
Ooh.
So you guys need to man up here. But yeah, so we were really busy over the New Year's holiday.
Yeah.
Like Kristal, I would say bring snacks, right? It's one of those things where you get into a social situation, you don't want to wait for the restaurant. They're usually pretty packed. So having those extra libations always helps, whether they be in liquid form or the food form. And if you don't have any of those, we can go to Kristal's class and she'll make us latex snacks.
Yeah.
I would also say bring business cards, right? Or bring your tag on your phone so that people can remember you and get a hold of you and talk to you. You know, there have been plenty of times where I have reached out to artists after the fact and said, "Hey, you know, I need some advice, or I want to run this by you, or I'm looking for some talent here in Nashville," which is more often than not. In fact, just recently I was exploring bringing Kristal all the way to Nashville, whether or not she knew it, because I had a request from Reba McEntire for a crazy ass dress. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a Kristal thing, not a Connie thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, having those contacts and being able to share that contact information, or making sure that you know, have a way of sharing your contact information or friending somebody on Facebook or Insta, so that you can keep those connections is super important.
Yeah. And as such a wide or a often winning competitor, what kind of advice can you give to someone that's maybe interested in competing at a convention?
Do it. Just do it. Even if you don't think your piece is worthy, because I never thought I was worthy of winning a competition. I will tell you that I always thought going in that I was the underdog. Every single time I entered, I never went in thinking, oh, I've got such a great piece, or I've got such a great idea. This is going to be the best thing, and it's going to get me to the podium. I went in with an idea that I loved, that I was passionate about, and I just entered it because it was something that I really, really wanted to do. It was something that I knew that even if it didn't win an award, that it was going to be something that I learned from. And so getting those opinions, you know, as people walk by, I would hear people say, oh, I would have done that differently, or I like that color scheme a lot. I maybe would have done, and you know what, I'm not beyond asking for opinions. Like, what could I have done differently? What do you think would have added to this piece? And I learn from those. And then I hear about what people like, right? I hear what drives people. I see competition pieces in the room all the time where people will walk right past them. Well, what causes them to walk past that piece? Is it the subject matter? Is it the techniques that they use? Is it the way that was made? I know a brilliant balloon artist that I see him enter competitions all the time, and sometimes he wins and sometimes he doesn't. And I sat back once and I said, you know, why is it that this guy is so good, but his pieces never win? And I started talking about it just between me and a couple other balloon artists, and we realized that the pieces, while very technically sound, lacked passion, right? They had a story, but it was kind of it wasn't something that like moved you intrinsically. And that's what we do, right? We're fine artists, and fine artists that art piece should move you emotionally. Like, it should make you think, it should make you happy, it should make you sad, it should make you think. And his pieces did none of those. It was just latex that was in a form.
Right.
So you learn a lot from just.
What are some artists whose work kind of inspires you in that way? Whose work does show that kind of emotion and connection?
Oh, wow. I would have to say Jason Sakota is one of those people that tends to capture emotion really well in his pieces. I like the fact that a lot of the work that he does tells a story. And that kind of thing I really admire in a piece.
Right. Cool.
I like the whimsical things that you know, a lot of balloon artists do now, not necessarily one in particular, but you know, the fact that they make things really tiny or make things really large, like Mark Verge, for example, right? He's one of those that surprises you with the size of his pieces and the sizes of his delivery. And that was one of the first things what I said to him when I met him is, I'm like, you make me laugh because everything you make is so large.
Yeah. Well, Connie, I want to find out about what you're teaching. I'm very excited to hear about your classes, but we're going to save that for after this ad break. So stick around. We'll be right back to find out more about what Connie is going to teach at Twist and Shout 2023. Well, here on the Dave Brenn Show, I get to interview a lot of amazing balloon artists and performers. And on the last season of the Dave Brenn Show, I had the honor of interviewing Smarty Pants. And I've always wanted to ask him about that amazing fez that he wears. And there's an interesting story behind it. And here he is to tell the tale.
I wanted to ask about the fez, if you don't mind. Because I don't think I've ever personally asked you about your history with the fez.
Ooh, the fez is a great story. It's a true story too. It has a two-part story. So at the beginning, when I was living in New York City, I needed a job, and after one of the numerous .com busts, I got a job cleaning out offices of .com companies that had like just gone bust, and they just like took off. They're like, sorry, sucker, you know, we're not paying that rent. We're disappeared. So there's a company that imported things from Turkey and would sell. It was like an import company from Turkey. If you ever had a can of canned hummus, I will let you know it's quite disgusting. Like, hummus does not belong in a can. Lots of canned hummus. But they also had fezzes for some bizarre reason. So they had like stacks of them. So me and my friends decided it would be really fun if we all like wore some fezzes around town. We were the fez gang, you know,
Right.
Notorious but friendly. And one by one, people kind of lost interest in the fezzes. They were like, this is a joke, but I kind of kept it. And when I started doing parties, I would just wear the fez. And people would be like, we don't remember your name, but you're the guy with the fez hat. You're the fez guy. So I was like, well, as long as I'm the fez guy, I might as well keep it. So now it's become like a trademark. Thank you very much, mysterious company that did terribly selling canned hummus. Yeah, the part two of that is that the fezzes get worn out. So I don't keep them forever because I take them off. I put my keys in there, like my phone, like they get like confetti on them or something, and they get worn out. So I can't throw them away. So what I do is I just stack them up. Each time it gets like too old, I just keep them stacked up. Hold on, don't go away. I'll be right back.
This sounds very dark.
So just to prove that I'm not lying, here's like a last batch of fezzes. Like these just have gone to my closet now, but eventually they go down to the basement where they get put into storage for some unknown reason, and that's where they'll stay. So I've been doing this for like 15 years now, so I have like a lot of fezzes stacked up. And I'm waiting for my own estate sale so someone can come and see them and be like, I don't understand any of this. This does not make any sense at all.
Welcome back to the Dave Brenn Show. We've been talking to the wonderful, the beautiful, the accomplished Connie Iden-Monds. Hello, Connie.
Hey.
So the one last thing that I really want to know is, what are you teaching at Twist and Shout this year?
Okay, well, I have two classes that we've selected this year. As you guys know, I have a fairly large size business here in Nashville. And so Patty has asked me to teach a business class. While these are usually not well attended because twisters believe that they should learn one more model instead of learning how to run their business, I actually do know what I'm doing. And so I am teaching an A to Z marketing class, and that's how to get more customers, and who to contact and when to contact them, because all of those things are important to your business. I see a question coming in about my day to day. I will tell you that today we had 3 different crews running around the city doing jobs. We had a car dealership to decorate. We did an RV park. We had 2 private parties, and then we had several breakdowns from New Year's. We are always busy. We have 7 full-time employees right now, and
Wow.
buku of part-time. We had a lot more pre-pandemic. I had 34 people pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, we've gone lean and mean, and part of that is because I realized that I used to like to have control over everything, and then I realized that there was a lot of talent in Nashville, and that I could trust them to subcontract. I could trust them to own it. So you'll see a lot of people on Instagram posting at party animals in their story, because a lot of the people in Nashville work for me quite a bit.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the marketing classes, you're right that marketing classes, unfortunately, are historically very poorly attended, for exactly the reason you said. And if I could personally give you one piece of advice, it is take whatever marketing or business class is being offered at a convention, even if you're not taking the business side of what you do that seriously. If you will learn so much. You will learn little things. Like I took a business class at, like, I think my second Twist and Shout. And that's where I learned that I could get business insurance. I didn't even know that business insurance existed. And I had to take a class to learn that. And not only did I learn that I could get it, but I learned that I actually need to get it. It's required, among many other things. So go take that class. What else are you teaching?
So the second class I'm teaching is actually villain characters, and and it's the villain characters that you like, because it's from the park that you used to work at, but I'm not allowed to
Okay.
for copyright and trademark purposes.
Some unknown Southern California theme park. Yes.
Right. Because I am one of those big fans. I am a fan of those big parks. I was going to say I was a fan of the D, but that doesn't translate.
No, we can't say that.
So anyway, I am fans of that theme park.
Yeah.
And so I'll be doing those characters. So bring it on, poor unfortunate souls. We will be coming up with those characters to do for line work, and you can incorporate them to make them bigger into party favors if you'd like.
Nice.
But being a fan of those theme parks, I thought that would be a great place to do it. And since we're in Southern California, it's kind of a nod to them as well.
That's a great title for a class. I'm a fan of the D.
Don't use it. It's definitely don't.
I don't think Patty would approve of that.
No, she would not. I forgot to ask this of Rob, so I'll ask it of both of you now. Connie first, and then Rob. What's obviously skill level for your marketing class is you don't need a skill level. Come in and learn. But for your twisting class, what kind of skill level would you say people should be at?
It's beginner. Yeah, I always try to do the twisting classes at beginner, because I feel like there are plenty of people. We have so many talented people there that can cater towards some of the more advanced techniques. And so I try to do everything where you can come in the door and pick up something amazing, and honestly challenge yourself. If you don't think you're ready for it, please challenge yourself. I was at an event in Southern California, and this girl walked up to me, and I had just done a video that had advanced techniques in it, and she had made everything in it, and she had only been twisting a month.
Wow.
And so you never know what you're capable of doing until you try it.
There's a great story that I remember from Buster used to tell this story, that when he was teaching a class one year, and it was this thing, it was like kind of part of a tour. He was teaching this class all over. And one of the techniques was a sidewall bubble in like a 5-inch round or something. And the first few sessions of the class, he would tell people, now, I just have to warn you, this is a really tricky technique. It's pretty difficult, but if you practice it a few times, you can get it. And people couldn't get it. And then he stopped.
Oh.
He stopped saying that. What he started saying was, "This is a super easy technique. It might look hard, but it's actually super easy." And when he started framing it that way, suddenly everybody got it, and they were totally fine. So I think it's a good thing to say, even if you think the techniques in the class might be advanced, just tell yourself they're easy. Give it a try. You'll probably be able to do it.
Yeah. So somebody asked the name of the two classes.
Yes.
The villain class is called Something Wicked This Way Comes. And then the second class is A to Z Marketing.
A to Z Marketing and Something Wicked This Way Comes. Real quick, I'm going to bring up Rob. Rob, tell us what you would say skill level wise are your classes, and also tell us the names of your classes.
I'm not quite sure the names as yet. I got my line work animal class, and the other one is what I call my mini peeps, which is the people. I don't do anything difficult. I spend my life simplifying everything to make it as easy as possible, because when I go out and work, I want it to be quick and easy. So I do nothing difficult.
You're a man after my own heart, Rob.
That's a lie.
I love that.
That's
a lie.
That's a straight up lie.
I was going to say,
Because-
I've seen his work, and like,
Thank you.
I'm in awe. and
hang
I'm
on a
like,
minute, hang on a
That's
minute.
easy.
That
and-
snake,
Okay,
that
I'll rephrase
snake
it.
head, the snake head.
You're getting a lot of pushback here, Rob. You better defend yourself.
Let me defend myself. I'm not going to be teaching anything difficult.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. And Kristal, what are the names of your classes? I know we're not finalized on which class is which going to be taught, but what are the names so people can?
So the three options. It started with the cat, dress up your dresses, and fun food.
All right. It started with a cat, dress up your dresses, and fun food. 3 possible offerings from Kristal. We will find out what they actually are soon. It's like a little mystery. Like, ooh, what's it going to be? I like it. All right. Well, I want to say one more thank you to all 3 of my amazing guests today. Thank you to Kristal Yee, Rob Driscoll, Connie Iden-Monds. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Can't wait to see you at Twist and Shout 2023. Again, if you haven't gotten your room or gotten your ticket yet, it is not too late. Go to balloonconvention.com to get all the information. Reserve your ticket now, and I'll see you there.
The room rate goes until the 28th, according to Jonah.
Really?
He said it was a typo.
Oh, exciting!
And I
Okay.
feel like I was told that on the phone, so that sounds like familiar.
Okay, so you have until January 28th to get the special convention room rate. So go to balloonconvention.com, reserve your room now, and we'll see you in sunny Glendale, California on February 22nd. Next week on the Dave Brenn Show, we're going to be talking to Adi Somek Privat. I cannot pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to destroy it right now. And Dennis Scott. So come back and check that out next week. Thank you so much for watching this edition of the Dave Brenn Show. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dave.